Welcome back to the Third Wheel Podcast. I'm Caleb.
I'm Shafts.
And today we are finally getting back to our regularly scheduled programming. And what do I mean by that? Well, guys, Harry Potter. It's time. Book 5. I can put it off no longer. I've tried and I've tried to avoid ever getting to this book again, and yet here we are. Are you excited, chaps? I'm surprised you actually kind of agree with me on this one. You're actually not as big of a fan, just like me. We both actually don't like this one.
We'll see if it's for the same reasons. I have a feeling maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not.
Okay.
My favorite.
So I've told this story quite a few times, but this will be the last time, I promise. Well, actually, I'm kind of curious, Shaps. What was the first thing you noticed about the book when you opened it?
When does the book start exactly?
The text. It's so tiny compared to the first 4 books.
Oh.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a lot longer.
Wait, it's so much longer. Not only is it thicker, right? It's not just a thicker book than the last one.
It's definitely the longest book.
But the words are so much smaller. She used a tinier font. So there's like 1 billion more words per page. Yeah. And there's more pages.
May have been an editor choice or something, but yeah, that was...
I love the color of this book, though. It's blue, so pretty cool. Oh, sorry, it's all tore up. I've read it too much.
Yeah, it's a good cover art, too.
Yeah.
It looks like he's doing something naughty, and he just got caught.
You actually think... What's naughty? Ew.
I don't know. Look at him. He looks like, oh my God, you weren't supposed to see this.
Yeah, you just caught him with his wand. Get out, Mom. Well, actually, there's a ton of doors opening, so you'd swear like everyone caught him.
Everywhere in outlet.
It's like live streamed. All right, let's quit putting it off. Let's talk about the book. Okay. The opening of this one starts off okay. Harry's all pissy because no one's talked to him, which I think that's every book, though. Every book he's upset.
Last book he did the same thing.
Yeah.
I think he did it for the last book before that as well.
Yeah.
But here, even when he meets everyone, he still's pissy for like...
Well, every book he's upset, nobody sent him letters.
Yeah.
And he has the same thoughts every single time. Does nobody like me? Do they not want to be my friend anymore? Dumbledore hasn't written to me. I haven't heard from Hermione and Ron.
No,
Did they forget?
I don't even think it's that. I think it's legitimately like he's like he wants to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
I don't even think he feels like, oh my gosh, there's no one like me. He's like, they should like me.
Yeah.
Because he says stuff like, do they not remember that I did this, and this? So he's like, ego trip, dude.
Yeah,
like,
let me put this back a bit. Harry, you didn't do any of that. Okay, Dumbledore saved you the first 80 times.
It's one point in the book, he's yelling at Ron, and he's like, were you there when I fought Professor Quirrell? I'm like, you weren't even there.
That was actually that was one of my notes. Was like, bro, you had nothing to do with that fight.
He touched you in the wrong place and died.
Yeah. So
okay, so yeah, the Dursleys opening. I always love the Dursleys openings.
Yeah, it's always a refreshing way that J.K. Rowling gets him out of.
She changes it every single time,
and it's good.
And I really like it this time, especially because it almost like built on the story a little bit.
Yeah,
because there's a howler that gets sent through. And then, like, they're about to throw him out for good this time. And then, like, the howler opens, and it's actually addressed to Aunt Petunia. And she, immediately after hearing the howler, is like, never mind, he has to stay. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
She like, has some connection to this world, more so than people realize. Yeah. They never really come back to that. But, yeah, I thought it was really cool way for them to kind of, like, explain. Because, like, Harry keeps on being more and more of, like, a little punk. And,
Harry is
he freaking bullies his his cousin in this one. Like Harry pins him in an alley and he's like making fun of him and like threatening to hex him and stuff.
Harry is the least likable in this book.
Good Lord.
He's yelling at, like, he's borderline abusive.
He's starting fights all the time.
Like physical fights.
Threatening people, like
everyone would beat the crap out of Harry. Let me say that first off, okay? Secondly, he's like, there's a part, I marked it in my book, where he's screaming at Hermione and Ron.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
I was like, where is this coming from?
Yeah, no, like anger. Now, I will say, we got a comment saying, oh, I can't wait to hear what you guys think is going on with Harry. Most people get it wrong. I'll get to what I feel like you're trying to tell me, but I don't think it's
I had
quite
a
what you
theory,
think.
not a theory, or I had a speculation at the very beginning that he was slowly becoming sort of like a dark wizard, or more of like, just like this, like the signs of a killer, like signs of something that would like trigger him to do something like unthinkable,
evil.
And I think they kind of hint on that in this book towards the end, or they play on that idea at least. I don't think they're going to go all the way with it ever. Which, fair enough, probably not. I don't even think they're going to expand on it probably any more than they already have.
Yeah.
But I did think that was interesting how they kind of brought that back. So I wasn't crazy when I thought that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was in the same way I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know. Yeah, a lot of magic gets involved. I'm not always a fan of that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the Dursleys kick him out. He gets swept up.
Hold on a second. Hold on. A Dementor.
Yeah. So the Dementors freaking attack him.
Yeah.
Like
comes out of nowhere
in the city, like where they're not supposed to be roaming around, and they attack him and his cousin. And his cousin almost gets his life sucked out, and then Harry prevents that. From
among
happening.
other things, sucked out. I want to add this note here because I just remembered.
Yeah.
Talking about that Dementor at the beginning, we'll come back to that. There's a reveal at the end that really just made it more stupid for me.
So yeah,
anyway, so
they get attacked. He fends them off. That's why the Dursleys are like throwing him out. But then, like right before he gets thrown out, he gets a letter from Ministry of Magic, which I thought was kind of funny. How like quickly it was like, "Hey, we're gonna take your wand, break it, and also we're going to expel you from the college. Good, have a good day."
And that's consistent with the third book, because in the third book he makes that ant that's talking trash about his parents inflatable.
Yeah, and they say if you do it one more time, and they reference that. It's like this is your second time.
Yep,
we're gonna break your wand. And then they're on the way, and then he turns to his aunt and uncle, and he's like, I'm expelled, which means I can do whatever I want with you guys.
Oh, he's turning evil.
Like legitimately.
This is dark, punished Harry this time, okay? He's not putting up with this crap anymore.
Yeah. And then like immediately there's another letter that says, hold up, don't do nothing.
Yeah, don't do anything. Dumbledore's fixing everything.
It's really funny.
Again.
There's like 8 letters that come through, like all telling him the same thing, basically, which I thought was just funny how the Wizarding world works. But eventually he's picked up by the, well, no, he's not picked up. Eventually he is. He stays home, and then the Order of the Phoenix comes by, and they kind of jump scare him a little bit. He's like, who are these people in my house?
Yeah.
But it's all people he knows. So Lupin's back.
Yeah.
Sirius Black is back.
Yeah.
The Weasleys, go figure. They were part of it the whole time.
Real Mad-Eye Moody's there, too.
The real Mad-Eye Moody.
He's way less interesting than in book 4.
He doesn't say a whole lot.
No.
Which, like, I don't disagree with it, but... He's back.
We don't disagree. Like you don't.
I've talked about this before.
You don't miss Moody. You don't miss.
The reason I brought this up before, so I don't want to bore the audience. But basically, how it's like the character that they were talking to, it wasn't actually Moody. Right. So it's hard for me to say that they made Moody less interesting. He could have been this way the entire time. We wouldn't have known. So that's my argument for it. The Weasleys, go figure, have always been a part of this secret organization. Watching Harry, and you find out a few more people in this organization. It's like. I don't always love when writers do that. Like I don't think
when someone's like, "Oh, we were doing this from the beginning,"
and then you go back. Oh, remember that little obscure thing they did? That's because they were part of the secret organization. That was their handshake. Like, no, maybe they were just being weird. Like they feel like they had to make their characters deeper. It's like, oh, this was
we did this the whole time. It's like, and that was my problem. Now this is a sidebar. That was my problem with the Stranger Things reveal in season 4, where the main bad guy. In that season, he came out of nowhere, never heard of him before, but then they're like, oh no, it was him the entire time. And I was like, huh?
Yeah, already I'm not like loving the idea of the Order of the Phoenix.
Right.
Because I'm like, all of these guys were in on it the entire time.
And how much of a stretch would it have been to be like, okay, the Dark Lord's back, Dumbledore called his greatest allies.
Right.
And formed the Order of the Phoenix, but no, they were here the whole time. We've always been pulling strings, Harry. Like,
and then like his neighbor was in on it the whole time. I'm just like, well, yeah. I don't. It's so much.
I don't like that
happens. I'm just like, why couldn't it have just been? I don't know.
But with that though, the Order of the Phoenix chapters, which again, the first 5 chapters and then the last 2 chapters, are actually Order of the Phoenix related.
Yep.
And those are the best chapters, to be honest with you.
Yeah, as soon as they leave the house and they kind of bring him to the Sirius Black's house.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
It's really cool. I've always wanted to see his Black's house, and also it's darker, he's like kind of ashamed of like a lot of the things he has. Like he's kind of the outcast in his family. You meet this really cool house elf named Creature.
Yeah.
Love Creature.
Why do you love Creature?
Because he's like the first house elf that I don't like. That's not meant to be annoying, you know, in some capacity. Yeah. And you can tell like just the way he speaks, like he has his own way of talking, which is really cool. and he clearly like doesn't want to be there, but like has to be there. And like Sirius Black has an interesting relationship with him that comes into play later, where like it's sort of like not a love, Rich. They both kind of hate each other, for so different reasons. Like Creature is a bad guy. Creature very much is like he's servant of the blacks, and the only reason he's doing what Sirius says is because Sirius is like the last black, I think, in the family or who lives there. Yeah. So that's the only reason. So it's really cool dynamic, but also you got Hermione who's like spew. And
they did kind of do spew a little bit better in this one.
Yeah, she gets freaking aggressive this time.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but like
with her tactics.
Yeah. So they address it more in this one. The last one, she was like spew, spew, spew,
and then nothing happens. And in this book, legitimately there is an actual consequence that happens.
Yeah, and they address why things are bad. Things do need to change.
Because in the last book, Dumbledore never once said, it's wrong how people are treating some of their outsiders. No. I don't think he did, at least. In this book, it's very clear, like later on, you know, what's happening.
Right.
And then people start taking spew a little bit more seriously.
Right.
Which is cool. So a little payoff for Hermione.
So let me get to the first few notes here. So let me say, he gets to the House of Black. We're introduced to Creature. We're introduced to all the, is it Aurors? Is that how you say them?
Auror, yeah.
The Auror. So cool idea. Like wizard hunters. Like these people, they find the dark arts people.
Yeah, they were introduced last book.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, they weren't sent to that school that teaches on the dark arts. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get that, but whatever. Whatever.
Right.
Just let it go. Harry, he's about to go to trial, right? Because
they're like,
this book they established that now the Ministry of Magic is a Cornelius Fudge. He's got it out for Dumbledore. He's got it out for Harry. He's got it out for anyone who's close to Dumbledore, because they don't believe that Voldemort's back. Right? Yeah. That's a key theme of the book, which I thought was a really cool angle.
It's a very realistic take on like what would happen. Yeah. Like this government being like, we can't say that he's real, and we're not going to believe he's real, and we're going to tell everyone that he's not. Kind of brainwashing borderline, rewriting history, and taking a hostile action. Yeah, because like Dumbledore he said the things he wasn't supposed to say. Right. He stepped out of line apparently, and now he's but he also isn't going to give up his school.
Yeah,
so
Cornelius Fudge. I think he's one of the better fleshed out characters in this series so far.
He is more fleshed out here than ever before. Because the last books, he was just kind of one of those obvious. Harry, don't ask too many questions.
Yeah, we're okay. Harry, it's okay to break the rules every once in a while. Okay.
Now he's like, you break it, you die.
But we know why. Like he's very like Voldemort. I don't know why he's evil. Right, but Fudge, like he has to keep the peace. He has to keep his office. Yeah. He has to, he's genuinely afraid Dumbledore is going to try to go for his position.
That I was going to be so disappointed if he came out that he was a Death Eater. Yeah, that Fudge. I was like, that's such a but he didn't do it. She didn't do it.
No, he legit was just like, I don't want to lose my spot. We're in a time of peace. We're going to keep that.
Right,
and it's very well written that he's not paying attention to what's going on around him. He's allowing Death Eaters to infiltrate his close circle of people that he trusts, and they're not tricking him into following Voldemort. They're tricking him into thinking that Voldemort doesn't exist.
Right. He's so oblivious that actually Order of the Phoenix has an agent in his inner circle as well. So it's like he really just has his tunnel vision, like severe tunnel vision.
And they address it. They're like, "Do you think he's under Voldemort's control?" And they're like, "No, we don't think. We think he's legit." Another running story that doesn't get addressed this one, but I loved, was Percy. Percy Weasley. Percy is so embarrassed. They hinted at it in the last couple books, but Percy Weasley is ashamed of his parents, how poor they are, how little that they care about social status, and he's got a hard on for Fudge.
Right. Which is crazy.
Yeah, he's wearing the Fudge's #1.
Yeah, I thought it was very heart tearing when they read out that letter he wrote to his mom. Like, dang, that's crazy. Because Percy was kind of like that, like older brother doofus, that no one really likes, but he's still like a part of the gang, but not anymore. Like full fledged, like you said. So he goes to the trial. It goes pretty much as you would expect.
Well, I had to note that. So the very first thing, he sees Hermione and Ron again.
Oh, sure, yeah, sure.
And Hermione just immediately goes, "Don't worry, under Wizard Clause 13.02, that when you defend yourself, you're
study wizard law as well."
And I was like, Hermione, are you a lawyer now? Like, in a good way. I was like, once again, Hermione's saving the day. She's already read the law book, and she knows what clause to get him off.
It's in character.
And then out of character for Harry a bit.
This actually made me stop for a second reading. I was like, is this actually happening right now? Harry blows up at both Hermione and Ron, but like gets dirty, like legitimately mean-spirited for no reason, and like tries to like kind of insinuate that they don't care and that they're jealous of him essentially, and like they never cared about him from the very beginning. I'm like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Like, good Lord, dude, take a freaking chill pill. These guys are your buddies. And they're the whole time, they're not fighting back. They're just like...
Well, Hermione starts crying, and Harry's still like,
exactly.
Do you not know what I'm going through?
It's like,
I got to sit in my house all day and do nothing. Do you know how that makes me feel? I'm like, dude, this is the worst I've already didn't like Harry that much for different reasons, but this is, and I remember, this is why I hate the book so much. One of them is now he's straight up unlikable.
Right.
Okay.
He doesn't have a whole lot of last book. I argued he'd had some redemption, but like this book,
there wasn't, and it gets worse.
It gets worse, like all the way to the end of the book. He's still this way.
Yeah. So he's like the opposite of Fudge, where he's got the tunnel vision, but you still hate him.
Whereas also, Fudge, he hates Dumbledore now.
Yeah,
he hates everyone. Like, I don't think there's one person he doesn't hate besides maybe Cho, but that's for different reasons. So yeah, we'll get to that.
Now we could maybe here's the defense everyone's going to go to. Now he's hitting puberty, and now he's like getting his aggression out. Now he's attracted to girls. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, there's a name for that kind of person, and it's the same person. We'll get to that later, because I know there's people who will be like, well, again, we'll get to that. There's a lot of like stupid defenses I can think of. People are already making YouTube videos about.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, like no, I guarantee she wasn't thinking of puberty. I think she was thinking Harry's turning darker, and this was what it looks like.
Right, but it's so annoying. It's not like
it's not interesting.
No. He's like this throwing temper tantrums. We get to this later, but his last temper tantrum, he's throwing furniture. He's like throwing. He's like, you don't know how I feel.
It's not like Anakin from Clone Wars, where it's like that gradual sort of like decline.
Yeah, Clone Wars did it better.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones did it better.
Yeah, honestly, we're like, he's still a likable character even though he has dark spots. Like Harry, I think she tries way too hard to make him noticeably bad in these situations.
In this book, because I'm pretty sure in book 6 he just doesn't do that anymore.
Good. Okay.
So that's what makes 5 stand out for me. Is just bad because it's like she was trying out some new ideas and I was like, I don't like that anymore. And then so it makes this more disposable, and that's one of my problems with it. Is like, if it's disposable, then why did I just read it?
The only amount of lore that's really added to my knowledge, besides like little nickel and diming, is the Ministry of Magic, where we actually get to see what it looks like now, or at least tell what it looks like. We get to see like there's secret compartments. There's different ranks. There's different like we get to see how law works, I guess.
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I think it's the only real big thing that they add.
And giants.
Well, we already knew about giants, but they talk about them more.
Well,
now.
like that, we get a little bit of the culture, but we'll get to that. We're getting ahead of ourselves. So the trial, I love that chapter.
Yeah,
I love Harry's on trial. For some reason, this book too, which there's a reason, but we don't really talk about it till later. Dumbledore is noticeably absent from these chapters.
Yeah,
the first 4 books, Dumbledore, you can't keep him away from Harry. Right. And I don't mean that in a creepy way. I mean like. He's there and he's like talking to the students and he's talking with Harry and he's explaining stuff. This book, he's noticeably distant. They address why, but it's a different tone. What's Dumbledore really doing? So Harry's about to go to trial.
Yeah.
Half of the board doesn't like Harry already. Right. There's Professor Umbridge, who isn't really revealed yet, but she's there. And Harry takes notice of her because of her. She's tiny. She looks like a toad.
Yeah.
And then there's Fudge. There's Percy, who's the court reporter, essentially, and he's taking notes and he's transcribing the whole thing. There's other people there, but nobody really knows.
They're probably not going to be named again.
No, probably not. And then Harry's just there by himself, and you're like, oh, shoot, what's going to happen? And then Dumbledore comes in, and he's the lawyer. And he's like, okay, here, under this section and this section, Okay, so Fudge is the enemy of this book. He's the antagonist. Screw Voldemort. Fudge is way more interesting.
Yes, he's in this book.
Yeah. Guess what? And he loses too. Spoilers.
What?
the big bad Dark Lord that everyone's scared of. We don't even say his name. He loses again. Oops. So anyway,
we're introduced to that threat. Basically, Fudge, the rivalry between Fudge and Dumbledore is fully realized here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of tension in this room. And you can kind of see both sides, even though Fudge is like a bad person, you can kind of see where he's coming from. At least the Ministry, where they're coming from.
Yeah, for sure. Because they haven't seen any proof of anything.
Right.
In last book, I forget the guy's name, Crouch Jr.
Crouch Jr.
The only guy that could have confirmed their story, Fudge went ahead and just killed him.
Yeah.
So, like, I understand. Like, Dumbledore's a threat to the established peace, and there's been peace for 10 to 15 years. So Harry gets off by technicality. Once again, he had nothing to do with his own defense. He didn't save himself. He didn't testify. That's fine. He's still a kid. I let that go. We get to see. So that courtroom he's in is the same one from last book when Harry uses the memory pensieve and he revisits the Barty Crouch Jr. trial,
which was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah,
of the
good
book.
stuff. Yeah. So good chapter. So Dumbledore's acting weird again. He takes off. So he doesn't even say bye to Harry. He just he beats the case. Fudge is mad. It's a split decision. Dumbledore takes off. Okay, and then Harry comes back out with the Weasleys, and everything's weird. So, and then that's the last chapter for a while.
There was one little part I want
to please
mention that just because it was like. It set the tone. At least I wish they kind of. Well, it actually did kind of foreshadow and set the tone. Is when Mrs. Weasley is upstairs fighting a Bogart.
Yeah,
and she sees. It's just such it's such a horrible thing.
Yeah,
she sees all of her loved ones dead. That's the form it takes.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's scary.
That's pretty bad.
It takes the form of her dead sons, the dead husband, and like Harry. And she's just like, I cannot handle this.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, she breaks down. They had to handle it for her. And that's told me, it foreshadowed for me. I was like, okay, someone's probably going to come today. Or, like in this book.
Right.
But like, so I thought that was really cool. Just kind of, again, setting that tone, realizing that death is a real thing. And we're going to stick to it, which, thank God, she's not like Star Wars where everyone just lives somehow. But after that, I think Hogwarts is basically next, right?
Yeah, so get to Hogwarts. A couple of things to note. There's a new teacher in town. Okay, it's Professor Dolores Umbridge. Now, you're listening to the audiobook. Please give me your best Umbridge impression.
Okay, so what does she normally say whenever she like makes her presence known? So
and anytime someone talks, she has to interject with
she starts ahem, right?
Yeah.
Well, Jim Dale, greatest narrator ever who has lived, makes her sound like she's quacking, like legitimately, no joke, like that. So like it's funny when like basically another professor's talking and then like every 5 seconds you just hear
So I got bored reading this book the first time and I switched to audiobook. I did actually miss those parts where she goes, that's the first half of the book, right?
Gotcha.
And then the second half is like more nothing, right?
Right.
So Dolores Umbridge is now on the scene. She's later on, she's the new teacher of Defense Against the Dark Arts. Yeah. Well, we should have a whole discussion around her in a little bit, but we're just establishing what's going on here.
I didn't think I was going to like her, but actually she's a pretty cool character.
Oh, yeah. I would argue she's my favorite. Okay. So she's the new one. She starts off, she's the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. Okay. J.K. Rowling is really good at making a character that is supposed to be unlikable. She's like...
Oh, yeah.
She excels at making someone unlikable.
Like, you don't want these people to die. You're just like, you don't want them to go away. You love hating them, basically.
Yeah. So, Umbridge is actually the most hated character in all Harry Potter for obvious reasons.
Wait, like...
Yeah.
Non-ironically hated? Like, actually hated?
No, because she's so mean. I don't know if it's ironic or not.
Right? So, people, like, actually don't like this character? Yeah. Really?
For some reason, people that read this book...
Because I think Rowling
relate to Harry Potter.
Rowling's bad at making characters who are good, like
likable,
but also giving them a dark edge. But like Umbridge, I thought was really, really well, like very fleshed out, very well done.
Yeah,
you can clearly tell who she is, what her goals are. I love the idea that she keeps calm the entire time. You know, even if she's like tearing apart your life
until the
very last.
Where they do the brick paragraph of everyone explaining their evil plan.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's my favorite part of the book now.
Yeah. Make no mistake, we got plenty of that in here.
No surprise, all the kids don't like Umbridge, and she's basically what the biggest thing is. She is not teaching them how to defend themselves.
She says,
anymore.
"Read chapter 3, don't talk."
And they're like, "Huh?" And she's like, "Yeah, well, the last 3 guys were like super dangerous, so we're not doing that anymore." Yeah. But there's also other reasons for that.
So any chapter with her interfering, because she starts taking away Quidditch, she starts taking away school activities. She starts banning newspapers. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then her method of detention is pretty sick.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap. Yeah. Instead of writing on a board, I will not tell lies, she has you carve it, magically, carve it into your hand, and it's written in blood. Yeah. Over and over and over and over.
And it heals, and then you do it again.
Like, that is a Greek tragedy right
for
there.
an hour.
And then for every day. Every day
for like a week. Yeah.
And then, like, Harry, I forget why he didn't tell him. I think he said, I don't want her to know that she's getting to me. Yeah. So he doesn't tell anyone. So she gets away with it, basically. That's her way of keeping people in line. I'm like, yeah. And she says it all with a smile, giant smile. And it's like, oh, that's unnerving. Yeah. Really unnerving.
And no teachers are stepping in to stop her.
They can't. Yeah, they can't. Because she's a ministry official. Yep. I think she's an inquisitor or something like that, but basically, like, no one can touch her. No one can.
Yeah, well, they invent the inquisitor role for her.
Right.
So now, right below Dumbledore, only Dumbledore can tell her what to do.
And she's like not just sticking to defense arts. She's going to every part, every little class.
If you sneeze Voldemort's name by accident, then
she gets divination taken down. Basically, she fires that one teacher, Trelawney.
Yeah, Trelawney.
She's
trying to get Hagrid fired.
Yeah. All this stuff, that's the interesting part.
But there's some stuff I want to address with her later. So,
but that's the interesting part. Yeah. The not so interesting part is when they reintroduce Cho back into the mix, and that's pretty quickly. Yeah. And as a reader, I'm like, okay, I'm really excited to see how she's transformed as a character because of what happened last time. Yeah, I don't buy it.
There's several chapters dedicated. And there's even more paragraphs dedicated to Cho. So there are chapters dedicated to going on a date with her, and the date is like...
Does she blame Harry for Diggory's death? Is she still, like, depressed? Yes, and no.
And no.
Like, legitimately, she comes up, like, hi, Harry, and she, like, wants to talk to him, and she's, like, already attracted to him, like, right off the gate. Yeah. And it's, like, weird. It's like, okay, that's weird. And then, like... I would say every scene after that, she has a crying session. Yeah. Like, out of nowhere. Like, just like, oh
so
my God. So
he's like, I got to go see Hermione later. Well, if you were so interested in seeing her, why'd you even bother coming to see her?
Yeah, she legitimately says that. Yeah. I'm like, are you kidding me? Do you not? Yeah.
So, like, and then, like, anytime he, like, grunts, she's like, what do you mean? What? Am I not good enough for you? But also, can we talk about Cedric?
Yeah, legitimately, tell me more about my dead boyfriend, please. Like, weird stuff. Yeah. And I'm like,
Cho adds nothing to this story.
She just takes away time. And I'm like, so much is dedicated.
This
so much
book
time.
is huge.
So much of it's
you could have cut out 80% of it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, I was done with that as soon as it started. Yeah. And I never got back on that train. And it's like a toxic friendship, relationship, whatever it is.
Whatever you want to call it is bad.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, he's mean to her, but, like, she's also, like, really messed up and, like, manipulating him. So it's like, yeah, no. And Hermione, like, carves it out. She's like, I'm not saying it's right, but here's all the things she's feeling. Yeah. And then Ron's like, well, maybe you should write a book about that. I was like,
I will. It's called Order of the Phoenix.
No. And again, I would say that takes up so much of the book.
It does.
Only, you know how this book's called Order of the Phoenix? What do they do? I don't know. They tell... What did the Weasleys say? The Weasleys basically said, Harry, don't do anything interesting. It's like, they're basically like, don't do anything dangerous.
Just go to school.
Go to school.
Start
and then,
love triangles.
Sirius is like, I want to come and hang out with you guys.
Oh, they did Sirius so dirty in this one too. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
This is like pretty early on.
We're trying to skip to the good stuff.
It's pretty early on when they're like, Sirius is like, hey, I want to come and hang out with you guys.
Yeah. And like, no.
They're like, no. And he's like, are you sure? And they're like, no. Like, okay. Yeah. And they give like some bullcrap reason that he's still wanted, but he's Also, Sirius Black has proven to be the most resourceful person in the book, or all the books. Okay, the fact that he was able to fool everyone at Azkaban, all the Dementors, all the professors, all the students, everyone in book 3, the entire time, like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I don't care if one boy saw him turn into a dog or something. Like, he's so freaking resourceful. He's not going to get caught.
Well, that's my problem too. Is because in this book he gets dumb.
Yeah, they make him stupid. They make him like a whiny little brat.
He starts, he starts crying about stuff. He starts complaining,
It's
like Harry.
I just want to
I want to be cool with you guys too.
Yeah, I'm like,
and then he's like sneaking around. He's almost getting caught by people as he's trying to sneak messages
Malfoy
to Harry.
freaking sees him. I'm like, really? Like, where was this amazing, awesome, dangerous, scary character from 3?
They dumbed him down.
It's watered, completely watered down.
So they only plant the seeds of it at the beginning. That Sirius, like, I want to go with you guys, and then no, creature, come here, I want to hit you some more.
Yep, basically,
yeah. So we're at school. We're introduced to Umbridge. I want to see where this goes.
Yeah.
Right. But the problem is, after they go back to school, nothing else really interesting is going on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's sprinkled every once in a while.
Every 5 chapters, there's a paragraph where something cool happens.
I'm trying to think, other than Cho, what is there?
Well, let me start.
There's Quidditch, but like that gets shut down pretty quickly because Ron starts playing Quidditch.
Well, yeah. So there's one of my notes is that Ron starts getting some attention.
Yeah.
And then Harry starts getting jealous, and he's like, nah. And I'm sitting here like, well, how do you think you made Ron feel the last couple books?
Oh, I still remember last book where you freaking threw something at him because like he got angry at something that was totally justifiable.
Oh yeah. And now this one, Harry can't handle that someone else is getting more attention than him. And it's like, oh, stop. Please stop.
Yeah.
Okay. So this part from the Sorting Hat really took me off guard here because it's like they couldn't pick a tone. It's like lighthearted at the beginning, and then the Sorting Hat comes in and he changes up his rhyme here. He says, "Though I must fulfill my duty and must quarter every year, still I wonder whether sorting may not bring the end I fear. Oh, know the perils, read the signs. The warning history shows, for our Hogwarts is in danger from external deadly foes. And we must unite inside her, or we'll crumble from within. I have told you, I have warned you. Let the sorting now begin." And I was like,
everyone's like,
yeah, that was great. I was like,
I want that exact. Just, I want to crop you out and put you just in the movie. Like, what? What just happened?
Can I go home? I feel I'm in danger.
Sounds like you're in Hufflepuff.
Yeah. You put the hat on me. I'm like, Slytherin.
They're like,
I stole this joke, but there's a meme where you put the hat on. Therapy.
Oh,
anyway,
jeez Louise.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so it's either a really dark and disgusting book or it's lighthearted. And there's a tonal,
that is the tone. That is the entire book.
There's a tone confusion where it's like, oh man, this is gonna be a good book, and then no, it's not. Cho's here.
Hi.
Yeah, spew.
I'm laying traps so that the freaking elves are tricked into doing something they don't want to do.
I really miss Potter Stinks.
Can we bring back Potter Stinks?
Yeah, I'm really missing that right now.
See, I thought that was weird, like how Hermione, it doesn't sound like it's kind of something that she would do, but she's literally laying traps for these house elves to find clothes, so they're forced into freedom.
Yeah.
Which is like good intentions, but also like kind of weird because it's stated so many times that a lot of these elves are very happy where they are.
Right.
And then they actually do not want, what Hermione is offering. Not that all of them are like that, but like what Dumbledore, basically his whole deal is that like you let them do what they want, but also treat them well.
Yeah.
She is like, no, they need to be free no matter what, even if they say they don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it's like, maybe the traps are a little too much, but I don't think anything really comes with that.
No.
And then Dobby comes in. He's like, yes, more clothing.
I will say this. Okay, so I don't want to get ahead. Okay. Umbridge, first class, essentially. Umbridge is not teaching.
Yeah.
So right out the gate, Harry can't keep his mouth shut. And he's like, actually, Voldemort's still around. And she's like, oh, wait, detention.
And they're like, stop saying Voldemort. He's like,
Harry,
I will not.
Yeah, Harry, shut up. No, I'm a strong woman. Okay.
I'm the one who murdered him. I am.
2 weeks detention.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And then that's when we get the horrible detention that we were talking about.
Yeah.
But legitimately, after that, other than a few classes, eventually he starts doing classes with Snape. But that's far in advance.
Those are good chapters.
Great chapters.
Oh yeah, we get some Snape development. A bit.
Finally, we're doing
5 books
something
in.
there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Umbridge, she argues with Harry. Now he can't play Quidditch for a bit, so they swap him out with Ron.
Right.
So Ron sucks at Quidditch.
Yeah.
And
he's not like the worst. They say his potential, but yeah, he's clearly like
he's doing terrible. So then Umbridge starts overstepping her bounds. She's now she's the Inquisitor, right? And these are interesting chapters, but now there's not that many, but there's a few. We're giving you the good parts.
Yeah.
Umbridge is reviewing every teacher. The ministry's given her permission, except for Dumbledore.
Just
Dumbledore's
performance
still in
review
charge.
stuff like that.
Yeah, performance reviews, and then eventually she works her way up to where you're fired. If you suck and I say you suck, you're fired.
Also, like really like crazy rules, like if a teacher is talking about anything other than their subject during class, they're expelled or they're fired.
Yeah,
and then like the kids are like, well. Then if she's ever out of her class talking to us about stuff, about rules, then we can just say the same thing.
Yeah.
But like legitimately, that's how hostile she's taking over like this, controlling this.
So let's let's go into Umbridge a bit here. She's mean. That she's unlikable. Like she won't let you talk. If you say anything against the Ministry of Magic, then like your detention. She starts
somehow Malfoy is her favorite.
Yeah, Malfoy's your favorite.
I don't know how he keeps getting on all the good sides.
Right.
I mean, maybe he's just telling on everyone or something like. I don't know how he does it.
No. That's another thing is like we don't get how this is working out. Like how does nobody know? We established in the second movie. You're just looking at Malfoy and he's like, and everyone's like, "Oh, Malfoy, you're such a good person." I'm a good guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your soul.
Yeah.
Looks tasty.
Yeah. I think in book 2, he's like, the Dark Lord will rise again.
It's like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, okay, cool, Mr. Malfoy. Here, you're now chief of staff.
Thank you.
Yeah. They're like, I just don't get it. But anyway, Umbridge, as unlikable as she is, she's the only smart one kind of in this series. Because we established Sirius got really stupid this book.
You mean this book?
Yeah, just this book. Sirius. He got really...
No, you're saying that Umbridge is the only smart person in this book?
I'd say she is me incarnate. Let me say.
Okay. Because I don't think she's actually smart. I
disagree.
You think you disagree?
Okay, so look, let me say. The fans really hate Umbridge, right? I love her, okay? Because a lot of problems that I had with the series, she also has a problem with, and she's like, no, we're going to figure this out. So last book, I said, how come nobody's following the owl? If they think Harry's communicating with Sirius, why is nobody just following the owl? She's on it. As soon as Harry sends an owl out, she's like, no, come here. Like, and then she's like, she's reading the notes between her and Sirius, right? Okay.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
What does she use her powers for? She does not at all use her powers to benefit the actual world of magic. Like
no, that's the goal. Is she's hindering creativity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think she's smart. I think she's stupid in the fact that she's blind. She's choosing to be blind to all these things happening. And that's really like stupid of her to do because she has all this power. She has all this. She has full control of this school.
Oh yeah.
Probably more so than we realize. And what did she try to do with it? Well, she kind of just like has a field day, like a power trip, basically.
Yeah.
Like
and that's the thing. But she'd be really good if she was on the good side, though.
No,
Yeah.
like if she legitimately was doing that, like I think her intelligence is unmatched.
Well,
Like,
here's
I think
another
she's really
thing.
intelligent.
She starts monitoring the fires and the hearths because she's like, you know what? Someone's talking to Sirius.
Yeah.
So that scene where they're talking to Sirius in the fire and they see her hand reaching through trying to grab, and I was like, thank you. Like Harry and Sirius up until this point are really dumb and they're leaving clues everywhere.
I love how Sirius was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I've been checking the fireplace every hour, and a kid saw me. I think, but I don't know. He's
yeah.
yeah. Old Sirius would do
Yeah.
that.
No, and that's the thing is Umbridge is like, there's a lot of clues here that nobody's following up on, and she just starts doing it. She's like checking the fires.
She's definitely like the most aware.
Yeah.
But yeah, what she's doing isn't like helping. I would say. Now,
Well, no, I mean, I know what you mean. It's not helping the overall for the side of good, or she's not contributing to the
She
wizarding
wouldn't do
world.
the same thing if it was like Draco Malfoy. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I know
she has a vendetta, and
because-
she's using her powers to basically strengthen herself.
My criticisms of the series are being addressed here. I've always said Harry is dumb and he leaves clues everywhere and he keeps getting like, how has nobody caught him?
Right.
She's not falling for that crap. She's like, okay, you know what, Harry? If you're gonna keep talking when I tell you to shut up, detention, you know. And she's like, well, he's sending owls out everywhere. Why don't I just follow one? And like I was saying, like she's doing the things that I have been complaining about for books and books and books.
Right.
So that's why I love her so much, is because like she's not putting up with Harry's crap. If he wants to mouth off, like all the other characters let him mouth off. She's like, no, detention. And I was like, thank you, Umbridge. It's time he got put in his place.
I see. So it's about you both have a joint vendetta against
Yeah,
Harry, and that's
I would work for Umbridge, is what I'm saying.
Ooh. All right, I guess you're part of her inquisiting death squad.
I was, and you know what? Maybe that's how Malfoy gets in. He's like, "Good one, Umbridge," and then she's like,
"Oh, I liked your, I like the cut of your jib."
5 points for Slytherin.
Huh?
All right.
So okay, let's talk about that. She promotes she promotes Draco Malfoy.
Yeah,
he's more powerful than I forgot to say that. Ron, Hermione, and Draco are now all prefects.
Yeah.
Which Harry was like, why am I not a prefect? It's like, good Lord, dude.
Just shut up.
So
because you only know 3 spells,
but Draco
boy.
gets promoted further
Yeah.
To be an Inquisitor, part of the Inquisitor youth group or whatever, essentially. And now he has the power to take away points from houses. Like, he is like, you don't give the power to a child. But yes, like legitimately, Umbridge is doing it, in my opinion, to get at Harry. Like legitimately, I think that's why she did it. I don't think it was because she actually thought he would benefit. Because like he has his own vendetta, he has his own agenda. So it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. No one really likes it. So I think they go back to they meet up with the Order of the Phoenix one more time. I think in the middle of the book.
Because
they go back to Sirius' house, right?
Another thing that's going on is Harry is starting to connect with Voldemort.
Yes.
In a way, telepathically.
That's what happens. So essentially, he sees a vision when he's sleeping, which actually turns out not to be a vision of a snake that attacks Mr. Weasley.
Yep.
And then he wakes up and he's like, I felt like that was me.
Your dad just got attacked, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so he's in the mind of the serpent, Voldemort's big snake.
Badingy.
But it's because Voldemort can also share a mind with this snake. And now Harry can share a mind with Voldemort. So there's the other love triangle that I just don't quite understand.
but Harry doesn't know that at first. He's like, am I going to be a snake? It's basically what he goes off of.
Oh my God. Everyone's so so Harry, you and Voldemort are connected. Oh no, I'm going to turn to a snake. Like, no, Harry, you and Voldemort are connected. Oh.
So no snakes.
Yeah, so why am I sliding around on my belly?
That's just you.
I don't know, Harry.
So no, they go basically save me, or he warns everyone.
Yeah.
Mr. Weasley does get attacked, but they were able to save him in time. And he's like, oh my God, am I going to be a snake? And then like, I remember right before they teleport to the Black House, he sees Dumbledore teleporting them. He looks at Dumbledore and time like basically stops.
Yeah.
And he gets like a quick like 10-second vision of wanting to kill Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Like that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because he's sharing that mind with Voldemort. And then like at one point, he says, okay, I just looked at Voldemort's mind. For whatever reason, he is so happy right now. He's like happy as he's been in like 12 years. Yeah. That's scary. It's like, what made him happy? Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know what's going on, but I know Voldemort's really happy right now.
And guess what they tell Harry?
I'm really happy. So Voldemort's happy.
Guess what they tell him to do? Chill out. Just go to school.
Yeah. Shut up, Harry.
Now they do say, okay, you're going to be learning. Around this time is when he's like, okay, I need to learn how to defend this. And then Hermione's like, well, how about a bunch of kids learn how to defend, against the dark arts? Because we're not learning from Umbridge. And then she's like, can I bring a few friends? And he's like, oh, I don't know how to teach all the things in the last books. I never did those things. And it was just luck. And they were like, yeah, but also you had heart, I think.
Well, let's go back just a bit here. So he's sharing a mind with Voldemort and also a snake. But Voldemort, let's throw that aside.
Also a snake?
Voldemort.
Yeah.
So I think, tell me if I'm wrong, Toodles, but she said, most people don't know what's going on with Harry. I'm really curious to know if y'all figure it out. Mm-hmm. I think this is what she means. She means that
the gradual possession.
Because he's sharing a mind with Voldemort and he can feel when he's angry and happy. Well, now that's what's turning Harry into a brat.
That's probably...
That's what's making him a brat.
Yeah, I feel like people would say that. Yeah. I don't think that's what's happening.
I don't either. And that's the thing, because
I think he legitimately... I feel like she would have written in some signs
some
that it was something out of his control.
Yeah.
But no, I've seen that gradual, not even gradual, aggressive decline.
Yeah.
And the things he complains about aren't things that Voldemort's complaining
Exactly.
about. So it's like, it's weird, you know? Later on.
No, I'm sorry. Let me say, like, if Harry started complaining about that first time he's yelling at Ron and Hermione.
Yeah.
So you remember in book 4 when Voldemort's like, all of you betrayed me. He said, there's only one real person here that cares about me.
If he mimicked that.
Yeah. If Harry was like yelling at Ron, he's like, y'all betrayed me. And if you, like you said, mimicking that, then I'll be like, okay, wow.
That'd be a cool callback.
Yeah. But no, he's like, nobody wrote to me.
It's like, Voldemort would be very mad if someone didn't write to him in prison. So, no. So essentially, he's freaked out. He's like, I need to learn more stuff. And they're like, well, all of us need to learn stuff. So they get a whole bunch of people together because apparently Harry's the best person to.
This is what stresses me out. This is one of the things I cannot stand about this book. Dumbledore's army.
Yeah. So remember how, so basically the Ministry's freaking out because they think Dumbledore's raising an army.
Yeah.
So what are these genius ideas?
Even
genius
Hermione.
Kids?
Hermione is in agreement with this.
Oh, to mock the Ministry, how about we call ourselves Dumbledore's army?
And I was like, what?
And then Hermione's like, yeah.
That's and then, so that was the first thing. And I'm glad we had the same thought.
Yes.
The Ministry is looking for an army that Dumbledore is privately raising to take over the Ministry. So everyone, including Hermione, the smartest character, is like, well, why don't we just do that?
Yeah, they won't expect that.
Yeah. Like, why not? Why couldn't they have picked a name that wouldn't have incriminated anybody?
Like the Tea Party or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yes.
So then that happens, and then there's like a bajillion people.
Well, here's the other thing. So everyone's like, okay, well, who's going to lead this?
Oh, yeah.
And do they look at Hermione? No. Do they look at another great wizard? No. Harry? Remember those 3 spells he cast? Well, really, there's only one good one, right?
But that was dang good flying.
Yeah, that was Everyone unanimously looks at Harry and like, Harry.
Now, they weren't like super on board at first until he gives his big speech. And then they're like, okay.
You know what his speech was? I wrote this in my notes, so I threw it out. But now I'm glad you brought that up. His big speech that convinced everybody was, I saw Voldemort. He's really bad.
Like,
and then was it Seamus? Who
Seamus was the one who's like, how bad is he?
Yeah. Well, Seamus is like, well, if he's so bad, we want proof that he's back. And then Harry just goes, no. If you don't believe me, then you're never going to believe me. Yep. And after he says that, everyone's like, yeah, you're the leader of this group. And I was like,
and Seamus is like, oh, foiled again.
Yeah. You're right. All right.
Yeah, and so also Hermione basically creates everything. She's like, she has the whole system figured out.
Yeah.
She knows where to meet. She knows how to throw off the Ministry. She knows how to talk in code.
She knows all these weird spells.
Yeah, like freaking high-level jinxing that apparently the Ministry doesn't even know how to combat. It's like, wow.
Harry, do you want to lead this group?
I guess so. If I have to. I'm not going to tell you how, though.
Yeah.
And then, Oncho's there, too. And she brings her best friend for some reason. I'm like, and guess what? Harry's like uncomfortable around Cho. He's like, oh, man, I'm all nervous now.
Now, I want to tell you, Dumbledore's army, which takes a good chunk of the book, has no bearing on the actual plot until the last bit of it.
No, it gets thrown away like
very fast.
And then it's like, the thing that you're thinking of, the thing that could go wrong, absolutely goes wrong.
The thing that when I read it the first time, I was like, this is a bad idea because if the Ministry finds out about this, everyone's expelled. They're going to get rid of Dumbledore, and they do it anyway. Yeah. And guess what happens?
So, yeah.
Well, hold on, though. The good thing that happens with Dumbledore's army, there's one good thing, is Neville. They really established that Neville's a better wizard.
I'm glad Neville is like more or less like not even a joke character anymore. Because they established who his family was, and also he's known this entire time that he has potential. He's just kind of like scared. I'm like, that's cool.
But in this one, we established like he has parents and grandparents that are looking for him, and he wants to protect his friends this time. Yeah. So the only good thing from the Dumbledore's army chapter is so dumb, but everything else is bad. Neville though is the one who's like he gets the most growth this chapter. Let's backtrack just a bit, and I say a bit actually toward the beginning. We forgot to talk about Luna Lovegood.
Oh yeah, she's a cool character.
I liked her a lot. She's really cool. She's goofy. She's weird. She's like a weird conspiracy theorist, like the female Alex Jones.
Yeah. Basically,
yeah. But she's funny and she's cute. Well, I don't mean physically. I'm reading in the book. Like, she's so like naive and she's so she's in it too. Good character. Right. Good addition. She sees things that no one else can see.
She can see death.
Yeah, she can see death horses. Yeah. So pretty cool. But anyway, so Dumbledore's army, Neville's character gets very fleshed out this one. Good thing. And then we get to the end of...
They go to the asylum at one point, the mental hospital. I forgot what they were there for, but they actually run into...
Lockhart.
I was like, yes.
And for some reason, nobody knows...
ever.
Nobody remembers Lockhart. So like so Lockhart's the bad guy from book 2. He's like he's a big fraud wizard. And so,
oh my gosh, I love Lockhart.
They run into him, and he's like, "Oh, they're here for my autograph. Do you want my autograph?" And the nurse is like, "Sure, Gilderoy, let's get you back to bed." You're not, at first. So, and it was funny, but I was just like, "Does nobody remember him?" Because he was famous like a few books ago, but now they're acting like that was never a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was probably just like a little cute callback. I'm like. He was kind of like a semi-antagonist at one point, and what he did was like kind of sick. Like he would freaking take people's stories, wipe their minds, and then take them in his book, put in his books. I'm like, that's so cool. But no, it was great to see him again. I forgot why they went to that mental hospital. I think because Arthur Weasley was.
They were there for Weasley because he got bit by the snake.
Yeah. So it's just like an all-encompass.
So Lockhart's there, but then they also hear more about the Order of the Phoenix. Order of the Phoenix. They learn about behind the scenes.
Neville's parents there.
Yeah,
because apparently they were thrown in that hospital or something because they're still.
Is there only one hospital for wizards?
I guess so.
Because they were like
mental hospital.
They go to see Weasley and then they walk out and then Lockhart's there, but then also next door to him is Neville and his grand. I was like, huh? Yeah. So I guess there's only one hospital that's Wizard General.
Essentially, like Harry's like, I need to learn more stuff, and Dumbledore says you need to learn from Snape. And he's like, no, and he's like, yes, you do. Yeah. No, and he's like, you're going to learn from Snape. Yeah. Fine. So Snape actually starts teaching him stuff, and man, those are the coolest parts.
So Snape is teaching Harry. These are good chapters. Any chapter with Snape is so good.
Yeah.
Even when he's just putting him in detention, I'm like, that's right, Snape.
Do it.
You do it again.
He's the only other person who would do it.
Yeah, it's like I don't think he learned his lesson. Hit him again, Snape.
Throw more snakes at him.
Yeah. So Dumbledore's like, you need to learn how to protect your mind.
Yeah.
From Voldemort. He doesn't explain why, but he says like you do not need to be connected to him.
Right.
And turns out Dumbledore's right, but of course Harry's like not taking lessons, he's not paying attention, he's not practicing. I'm like
he gets to the point where he's like he accidentally starts reading Snape's mind a little bit and getting brief glimpses in his history, and he's like, "Oh well, wow. I wonder what that's all about." But that's like the interesting part. But like Harry is kind of just blowing it all off. Yeah,
and he's not taking lessons. Well, he's taking them, but he's not practicing. He's ignoring everybody. Everyone's telling him to chill.
The thing that they keep saying is going to happen, guess what?
It's happening, and they don't explain why, but like it's common sense, Harry. Like if you're sharing a mind with Voldemort, obviously you're either going to turn into him because that's what's kind of happening is like he's getting his thoughts, or he's going to spy on you.
Yeah,
and he's just not thinking about it, and everyone's telling him, bro, chill, just take the lessons, and so. But no, he's a clear choice for Dumbledore's army. He's a great leader.
So we do a few more show episodes, and then oh my gosh, he gets called into the office, Dumbledore's office, because someone ratted him out.
Yeah,
it was Cho's best friend, of course.
Well, do you want to talk about the thing he saw with Snape?
He sees a glimpse, and he sees it more later. Yeah. So this is after.
Okay.
Yeah. So right here, this is the turning point in the book where I thought a lot of stuff was going to go down. Not really, but so basically like they get ratted out, and then like Cho's friend went over and was basically like, hey, they're doing the Dumbledore's army, blah, blah, and then she gets jinxed, and then she can't talk anymore.
Yeah.
And then they're basically like, well, tell Umbridge is there, Fudge is there, his two associates,
and Percy.
Percy's one of them, I think. And then like Dumbledore's there, and they're like, well, tell us what you saw. And she can't speak, and she just shakes her head, nods her head. And then Umbridge starts to get a little bit more agitated. She's like, tell me what you said.
Yeah.
Or you don't even have to say anything. Just nod your head if I'm saying the right things. Was there a conspiracy? And then she shakes her head. It's like, why are you shaking your head, child? And I think Dumbledore said something about like changing her mind as they're going.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh boy, this is okay.
Yeah. They're having to really cover up Harry's mistake.
And then they're like, well, what's it called? And then like, did you not say does Dumbledore reveal it, or does Harry reveal what it's called? Someone reveals what it's called, Dumbledore Army. Then they're like, Dumbledore's army? Well, oh my gosh, we were right the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you kind of were, I guess.
I guess
you didn't have to
Harry, you idiot.
And then Dumbledore is like, has to cover up Harry's mistake. So he's like, yep, I was training them up just like you thought. And they're like, what? And he's like, yep, exactly what you thought, Fudge. is what I was planning the whole time, and I would have got away with it too if it weren't for Harry.
Yeah. Yep. And so Dumbledore, in true Dumbledore fashion, takes the fall for Harry's F up. Yeah, because that's what Harry is.
And then Harry's like, "But no," he's like, "Shut up, Harry."
Yeah, Harry, shut up, and make sure you keep taking your lessons with Snape.
That's what he said.
Yeah,
because what he does is he's like, "I'm not going in quietly." Yeah. I'm like, "Well, that's cool."
Yeah, and
then like you can't teleport away in Hogwarts. So what he does, he basically knocks everyone out, and then he just gets up and leaves.
Yeah.
And the only thing he tells Harry is like, "You need to keep your lessons going with Snape." That's it.
And so that's a very simple instructions. What does Harry do? Nothing. The opposite.
Complains.
God, Harry Potter's such a good character.
So yeah, he leaves, and basically they're like, "Well, we need a new headmaster because he just committed. He just declared war against the Ministry of Magic. So let's put Umbridge in charge. So now she's in charge of the entire school.
She's headmistress, Inquisitor.
Now how cool is that, right?
Yeah.
Well, doesn't last long.
No, because nobody likes her. The teachers don't like her. The students don't like her.
There's a funny part where like the Weasley twins they like shoot off fireworks or something, and then she's like, "Why isn't anyone doing anything?" And they're like, "Oh, we didn't know if we were allowed to. Like, we didn't know if they had the authority to." So
So
all
everyone's trolling with her. Nobody likes her. Yeah, everyone hates her.
Yeah,
and so the twins go out in style where they put a swamp in the lobby, right?
Yeah.
They put it on the staircase, and then they're like, "We're out of here." They opened a joke shop, and we didn't talk about this, but they established there's some really cool inventions they're showing off to people and giving.
I like their character arcs actually.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
So at their time in the story's over. They do their big getaway and they escape and they go to Hogsmeade and they open a shop. Really cool, you know. So let's see.
After that was when he goes back to Snape. And then he sees.
Yeah.
So why don't you go into that?
So he takes one more lesson with Snape after being told, "Don't give up on your lessons."
One lesson.
He got one lesson later. He goes to Snape. Now I know Snape's being a jerk to him, but Harry is so dumb, so narrow-sighted that like he does not.
How many books does Dumbledore have to say, "I trust this man with my life"?
Yeah.
And also, he's part of the Phoenix.
How do you feel? Do you trust Snape?
Do I trust Snape?
Yeah.
Only because, like, I know if I didn't know it's almost like a writer trope, honestly, because the character that they're trying to make you believe is untrustworthy when the main character, the elusive character, is telling you is trustworthy. Typically, they can turn out to be trustworthy. Snape, unfortunately, I think he could be written a little smarter sometimes. Like,
sure.
I think he could allude a little bit more that he is on Harry's side. He's doing everything in his power to prove that he's not sometimes.
Right.
Which I think is distracting. Well, but deep down, I'm like...
Can you understand why, though? Because, like, so let me just describe this. So he's practicing with Snape how to block his mind from Voldemort. Him and Voldemort are sharing a brain, and he's like, I'm blocking.
It makes sense in this book why Snape is the teacher, if that's what you're asking.
Sure, no. So then Snape gets called to go stop a fight in the hallway.
Yeah.
And he goes out, and he's like, whatever. I'll be right back, Harry. Now don't touch anything. And then what does Harry do? He starts touching stuff. Yeah, so... I hate Harry Potter so much. Anyway, so he touches the pensieve, which is where they established in the last book. That's where you get memories.
Right.
Well, he pulls out one of Snape's darkest memories.
He's like, "What's this?"
Yeah. So I forget how it works. Does he take it and put it in his brain, or if you just touch it, it turns?
I think you touch it.
Anyway, so he accidentally gets into Snape's memory, and in Snape's memory. Now, granted, they don't really establish whether this is just Snape's perspective or this is a literal live feed of what happened.
Yeah,
we don't know. But Harry's dad and mom and Sirius and Lupin were bullies in this, and they're bullying Snape. They're hanging him upside down, and his robes fall down, and his underwear's showing, and they're laughing at him.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Look at you, you stink. Your hair's greasy. You're stupid. If I was you, I would leave." And like they're mean.
Oh yeah.
So to me, Snape sees Harry. So Harry doesn't like working with Snape. He hates being around him. He hates that he's in the Order of the Phoenix. He hates that he has to accept that Snape's a good guy.
Yeah.
But I on Snape's end, I feel like it's the same way. The kid that tortured the kids that tortured him and they hurt him. Now he's forced to work with them. He hates Harry's dad for obvious reasons. But now Dumbledore's forcing him to work with his son. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but he also is like that to everyone that's not a Slytherin. You have to keep that in mind as well.
Well, I would just say, like, I understand why he's so bitter toward everything.
No. The bitterness towards, like, Harry and, like, guess everyone else is fine. Like, it makes sense. What I'm saying is sometimes he goes way over the top mean-spirited when I don't feel like he needs to be, because it's harder for the characters to trust him at that point. Like, there's one time when, like, I think he made fun of Hermione's physical appearance for no reason. It was like, that was a little too far.
Well, here's the thing. That's consistent with all her characters.
And also, he's a bit of a crybaby in 3. Like, he's just like,
But I would say, like, that's consistent for all her characters. All her characters, there's no in-between, there's no gray area. Whatever personality trait she puts in that character, that is what they stick to.
Well, that may be, but if you ask me, would I trust this character? Probably not.
Okay, that's fair.
Like,
I get
probably not. But if Dumbledore trusts him, then I would give him a little bit more leeway, not constantly questioning, I'm smarter than Dumbledore, because doesn't he not realize? And someone tells him, who's the one who tells him in this book? I feel like it's Snape, who basically says, I think it was like a past Slytherin or something, who says, like, why do all young people, that's the problem with young people, they always think they're right about everything when they don't even stop to think that maybe they're not, you know? Which, again, Harry doesn't really take that to heart. But yeah, he looks into Snape's memory, he realizes, like, I thought my dad was, like, nicer than that.
Yeah.
Goof.
So,
and it's like...
Yeah. So, as he's revisiting this memory, Snape walks in, because, you know...
Yeah.
He was in there for a minute, and Harry has a problem with, like, time management. So if I was him and I'm looking at this, I'd be like, pop back out. Is Snape here yet? Nope. But of course, Harry's dumb. So Snape walks in behind him, and he's like, having fun there, Harry. And Harry's like, and that's probably where this picture came from, where he's like, yeah.
Then, like, all the members are there. Yeah. Just all the Slytherins are there. Like, huh?
Yeah. So reasonably so, Snape's angry, and he throws stuff at Harry. He's like, "Get out of my office!" Yeah. And Harry runs out, and that's the last lesson. So that easy instruction that
if he
Dumbledore
didn't
gave
do
him,
anything,
yeah.
But no, why did he need to know? Why did he need to snoop around? Like, what was his goal? Apparently, I don't even remember if they said what he was trying to find out, but it was just like being a little punk.
Yes.
He runs off, and then, like, so here's the thing: he's lost Snape's support. Dumbledore's gone. Hagrid has been doing his own little side quest.
Well, Hagrid ends up running away.
Yeah, because they try to fire him.
Yeah, they try to fire him. He's like, "Well, you can't fire me. I'm gonna leave.
I'm gonna make friends with some giants.
Yeah,
and get physically abused."
Yeah, and we're gonna try and wrap this up in about 15 minutes, but. There's a lot of stuff we're having to gloss over. Hagrid comes back, and he brought his little brother. What was his? Do you remember his name? Rorg or something? Grog.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grog. So Hagrid shows up. He's been gone the whole book, and we get a little bit more into giant culture. The giants are going to probably be on Voldemort's side, it sounds like, because
that's what they were before. So,
yeah, and the giant that was going to listen to Hagrid and get them on Dumbledore's side was killed by a Voldemort supporter giant, you know. But what ends up happening is Hagrid kidnaps his brother because he finds out he has a brother. And he takes him home and he ties him up in the forest. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
Another thing is Umbridge fires Trelawney. And as she fires Trelawney, they replace Trelawney, who's the prophecy... divination teacher. And they replace him with a really cool centaur.
From the first book.
The one that rescued Harry from the...
Forbidden Forest.
Yeah, but what was the monster that was? It was Voldemort. But what was the? They gave him a name initially. They were like, "What the hell is that?" You know. And
I think he was just like this. Well, he was eating a unicorn.
Yeah. So anyway, rescued him from last book. Now he's the new divination teacher. Really cool.
He's apparently is like an outcast from his people because they're like, "You shouldn't work for Voldemort." No one likes Voldemort. Apparently.
So what ends up happening? Harry didn't take his lessons from his mind blocking.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is Voldemort realizes that there's a connection, and he puts fake memories and fake visions into Harry.
Wow, it's like
it's like I didn't see that coming.
It's not like Voldemort knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it's not like Voldemort. Well, no, hold on now. Hold on. Let's not give him too much credit here.
It's like my pool game. I'm really good at first, but then by the end game, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say it.
He's good at setting up things.
Voldemort's kind of a dummy. I'm willing to bet the same way Harry has his friends that prop him up. That's probably what's happening with Voldemort.
Exactly what's happening. You're right. It is a parallel.
Like it's like Malfoys, the Bellatrix, Black. Like all these characters are helping. The real competent wizards are the one. Because if you really think about it, Malfoy's the one running around doing a bunch of his dirty work for him.
He's also the most scared.
Because anytime Voldemort hops into the chat, like the,
they're like, "Oh, the boss is here."
Yeah.
He's like the owner, but not the guy who actually.
Exactly. Because anytime it's Voldemort's time, he gets his butt
So
whooped.
that's the thing. Notice how we haven't like seen Voldemort this entire book.
Nope.
Don't worry, we're getting there.
We know he got happy for a minute, and we know he was really angry.
I don't know what he was doing, but he got happy.
Yeah. So anyway, Harry starts getting visions.
He gets a vision of Sirius Black fighting the serpent.
And he's dead. And he's dead. And like, oh shoot, what do we do?
Oh my god, we need to tell the Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah, we have to tell him right now. And so
let's tell Dumbledore's army. Oh wait, that's not anymore.
No, Harry's like, okay,
let's tell the Centaurs. Oh wait,
there's one fireplace that nobody's doing right now.
Yeah.
And so we do that. They sneak in Umbridge's office and uses that fireplace. Well, it turns out, la-di-da, that Umbridge was lying and she was monitoring it. And so, again, she shows how dumb Harry is and how smart she is. Yeah. She's like, how about this? I'll set a trap.
Right. That's so easy.
So Umbridge catches them. She trusts Snape. So she brings in Snape. She's like, I want you to make him tell me the truth. And Snape's stalling. So he's like, sorry, Miss Umbridge, but you made me use all the potion last time on one of the Weasley, something dumb.
Right.
So he's stalling for time. She gets frustrated. This is my favorite part of the book. And by favorite, I mean the worst. She's like...
her outro?
Yeah. It was me who sent the Dementor at the beginning. And I was like... Why did we need this scene?
Oh, look at that. Her demise on the horizon. Then she gets kidnapped by a bunch of centaurs.
Well, you're jumping ahead here, but so Hermione says, okay, you're right. You're right. We were definitely planning something evil, but I'll show you where it's at. It's in the back. And Umbridge is like, okay, but I'm not just going to make you take me to it, but I'm going to go by myself.
Yeah, that's where the...
Yeah. So the characters that need to be stupid get stupid, right?
Yeah.
So they say, okay, so Hermione, again, brilliant. Hermione's like, okay, hold on. You're right. We've been up to something, but it's actually not here. It's that way. And then Umbridge is like, okay, take me to it. So they're walking. They go to the Forbidden Forest. I will say this was very satisfying for me. So Umbridge, you do hate Umbridge. You do. Yeah. I love her, but I understand why fans would hate her. She's mean. She's evil. She gets her comeuppance in this one. So they take her to the forest. The centaurs show up. And they're like, "What is going on?" And like, they rule the Forbidden Forest. Oh, yeah. Her High Inquisitor status does not carry to the forest. That is their territory. So she starts doing her. She's doing all that. Yeah, she's like, I am the High Inquisitor, Empress, Emperor Palpatine, Umbridge, and they're like, no, you're not. And they bag her and they take her into the woods.
Bye.
That was very sad. I was like, and I hate, you're supposed to hate her, but I love her. But I was like, oh, I can't wait. I forgot. I don't remember what happened. I was like, what are they doing to her? Like, they got to be doing something terrible because she ain't gonna shut up. So they're in there torturing her. Yeah. That's pretty satisfying. And so then the centaurs show up once they take her away, and they're like, okay, now for the kids, now what are we going to do to you? And they're like, oh, please don't. We were just scheming against you.
No, wait, Hermione says, wait, there's something dark, but it's over there. You got to go.
All right, but we got it. And so then that's when Hagrid's brother comes in, Grog, and he's like, where's Haggers? So while Grog is fighting the centaurs, they run away. Yeah. Well, as they get out of the Forbidden Forest, and they're like, and Harry is tunnel vision again. He's like, we have to get Sirius. I know where he's at. I know what's going on.
Yeah, he's at the Ministry.
Yeah, he's at that. Like, so we have to get there. So they get the horses that you can only see through death, and they're like, okay. So they go, and Hermione's like, I don't think this is right. I got a bad feeling. And Harry's like, no, I know what I saw, and I'm a great wizard, and I see everything, so we're going.
Okay.
Yeah, so they go. They get to, and now we're skipping along, running out of time. But we skip along to the Ministry of Magic, and they go to the, what was that room called? Do you remember?
The Death Room? I mean, that's the last place.
Actually,
Death Room.
Let me go back just a bit. So let's talk about owls. So Harry doesn't study. He's not a good wizard. He doesn't know any good spells. And he passes all his owls. And I was like, huh? That didn't make sense to me. The other thing they do is they address the career path question that we had. So Harry sits down with McGonagall, and she's like, here's all the different career paths you can take. That was kind of cool. So they kind of addressed that a bit this one. And I was like, Harry, I think this is me talking. I was like, Harry, I think you're very good. I think you'll be very good at working at Wizard McDonald's. Or I really don't see you doing anything else. No.
I mean, come on, really think about that. If he's terrible at everything else, the only other place he can go is sports.
He had a.
He said it himself.
He has a good broom. That's not his skill. But whatever. But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So yeah, they're told that.
Yeah. So they go. Anyway, that's it. I was like, they addressed the career path stuff, and I don't believe Harry would have passed his owls, but he did somehow. He doesn't study. He's not good at anything, but he passed. So
of course.
Yeah. So we get to the ministry. There's doors everywhere. What room was that again? I forgot. Do you remember?
I just know the last room is called the death room.
Okay.
But before that, it's like the chamber of secrets. Something of that, like legitimately something secretive that, you know, is like,
it's not the forbidden room.
Classified archives or something.
Yeah.
Like that. So it's all the secret stuff that they like keeping behind closed doors.
And this was now we're back to good chapters. All the Cho chapters are done. The stupid Dumbledore's army.
She dumps him. Quote unquote dumps him.
Whatever.
So.
Whatever. I don't care. So anyway. They're at the Ministry of Magic. There's doors everywhere. Like, okay, in my vision, I saw that lamp. So that's the room we need to go in. And so they're going through all these rooms. And Hermione's really smart. She casts a spell that marks all the doors red of doors they tried. That's not it.
Monsters Inc.
Yeah, for real. There's doors everywhere, and nobody's sure which way to go. And so once again, Hermione's saving the day. So then they find what they're looking for. They find this jar, and the jar has a prophecy in it. And as soon as they find it, you start hearing, and then look over, and it's Malfoy. He's like, "Now hand it over to me, Potter."
Senior.
Yeah, Malfoy Senior. I apologize. Yeah, he's like,
I knew the whole time.
I was like, "Now hand me the prophecy." And then of course we get the monologue paragraph where Malfoy's like. So, and it reminds me of Syndrome from Incredibles. He's like, "You sly dog, you caught me monologuing." but he's like, and he starts explaining his big evil plan. And do you not understand that we tricked you into blah blah? So Harry right out the gate is mad because
like 3 chapters later.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh my God, I'm stupid. Like finally, what I've been thinking the whole book." He's like, "What? I should have listened to Hermione. Duh. I should have listened to Dumbledore. Duh." So big fight, chase scene. They're chasing him.
Did they reveal at this point how they knew what they were doing?
Yeah, the Voldemort was placing memories or fake visions.
The whole creature thing, because Harry brings it up later.
That's not till Dumbledore sits him down.
Yes, but that is like essentially what happened. We can just say that's what happened now. Essentially, that's exactly what happens. Like the whole thing about the whole elf thing about how you treat your elves well. Sirius was like not treating his elf well, so he like switched sides basically.
Well, yes, but they don't tell you that though till Dumbledore sits him down.
That's fine. I'm just saying what has happened.
Okay, sure. So it turns out Creature was reporting to Bellatrix about all their schemes and whatnot because he served Sirius and he served Bellatrix. I thought that was great.
Yeah,
that was very well written. Like Creature's one of my favorite elves.
It finally comes back, to bite them. The whole.
And let me address something. Dobby is actually not annoying in this book.
Yeah.
He's very helpful.
He shows up a couple times. And he's like,
he warns Dumbledore's army that the redcoats are coming,
right.
and so he's very helpful. This book. He doesn't show up out of nowhere to make Harry's life harder. He actually helps. So he improved very much. So this book that props it up 1.1 points. For me. So
nice.
This is still at a 3 out of 10 book. So then
they get chased around.
They get chased around.
There's this. Oh, we didn't say it. There's a weapon that Voldemort's looking for.
We don't know what it is yet, right? But we know, and he wants this prophecy. What's in the prophecy? I don't know. Who cares? So they're scared. They're running around, and the Order of the Phoenix shows up.
Yep.
And the Order of the Phoenix is fighting all the Dark Wizards.
They all pull out their lightsabers and they have a big space battle.
It's Crabbe and Goyle Sr., it's Bellatrix Sr., and not Voldemort, but the Malfoys are here. Like, everything's going crazy, right? So, the Order of the Phoenix shows up, and Bellatrix and Sirius are fighting, right? And, this is later. Voldemort shows up and he's like, "Hand over the prophecy," and Harry's like, "No," and he smashes it. And Voldemort shows up, and then Dumbledore shows up. Dumbledore brings Cornelius Fudge. Fudge is wearing his pajamas, and he's wearing his nightcap, and he shows up, and he's like, "Oh shoot!" So now there's proof. Here it is.
Right.
Everyone's here and they're watching. So they have a fight. Dumbledore wins again. And Voldemort does a weird thing where he pops out of Harry's scar. So Harry's scar opens and Voldemort's like, and then he disappears again. And so Voldemort didn't get the prophecy.
No.
He didn't beat Dumbledore. He didn't kill Harry.
He didn't possess Harry.
He didn't put, yeah.
Harry had like a moment where he was like, I want to kill something.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you don't. Like, oh.
Yeah, never mind. And then Voldemort disappears. Lost again, foiled, shoot. So,
like Voldemort.
Yeah. So,
see you next one.
Yeah. And then by that time, everyone's fighting each other. And Bellatrix and Sirius are fighting. Now, when I read this book the first time, I was on the audiobook part. And we get there, and I zoned out. Because I was like, I don't know.
Same thing happened to me.
I didn't
even realize what happened.
But this time, so the first time I was zoned out, and then I hear the narrator say, Sirius died. And I was like, it snapped me out of it. I was like, what?
I had to reread it and look it up.
I was like, what? I'm sorry, hold on. Huh? And yeah, so this time I slowed down. I was like, okay, really pay attention, Caleb. Really pay attention this time. I'm listening, and it's set up, and Sirius and Bellatrix are fighting, and then Sirius is like, haha, nice try, Bellatrix. And then, boom, he gets hit in the head, and then he falls in one of those weird doors. He
falls into the veil, which is basically, if he wasn't dead before, he's double dead now.
Yeah, yeah. Not Dumbledore, he's double dead. Yeah. he's passed on. He died abruptly again. Pretty abruptly, I'd say.
I legitimately missed it.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing.
If you blinked, you missed it.
I missed it so bad. I missed it so bad that legitimately I got all the way up to the point where he's talking to Dumbledore and Dumbledore's revealing everything, and I didn't know he was still dead.
Yeah.
I didn't know Sirius was dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait. And Sirius like, Sirius is dead, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no way. And then like I had to actually look up and like, did Sirius actually die? He's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He died.
Oh, no, he's gone.
Avocadabra. Boom.
Yeah. No, he's dead. We talked about last book how she's bad at killing off characters. Yeah. This is the big one.
Sounds like she had to one up herself from Diggory.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So the excuse with Diggory was like you could argue shock value.
Right.
Like Voldemort comes in,
which I still think is what
it's closing. Yeah. No, I don't think so. He's closing off. J.K. Rowling. Sorry, she's closing off the book hard with like, okay, Voldemort means business. Cedric's dead. This one, it's the same exact shock value. Rushed, terribly done. Sirius died, like one sentence.
Harry has a very delayed reaction.
Yeah.
He only gets angry and frustrated at everyone else after all this goes down.
So Sirius is dead, and then all the Death Eaters, Bellatrix gets away, I think. I don't remember. I'm sorry, guys. Bellatrix gets away.
She met her one quota, I guess. And then,
but everyone's been outed.
Yeah.
The Malfoys have been outed. Did they get arrested? I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
I think so, but well, only because Draco is really pissed off at Harry next time he sees him. He's like, "You'll pay for this." So maybe he was.
So, but everyone's outed. The Goyles, Crabbe and Goyle, Malfoys, everyone. Bellatrix is back. Everyone who thought they were dead and a good guy is gone. And Fudge looks stupid, and he's like, "Okay, well now I got to take Dumbledore seriously." So I love how the first book starts. You're gonna love that first chapter. It's in the same vein as the opening to Goblet of Fire. It's good. So it deals with Fudge and stuff. So so Fudge looks dumb. They send out a statement of like, we're sorry, we were wrong. Harry's cool now. Sorry. Everything's back to normal. Yeah. Everyone passed their owls. Everyone's happy except Harry. And he's still in denial.
He does it. There's this pointless scene where he pulls his head Nick.
Let me address Umbridge real quick. Sorry, let me interrupt you. So Umbridge Dumbledore went to the Centaurs and off screen got Umbridge back. I don't know what he said to them or what he promised them, but he does that, and then Umbridge is back and she tries to sneak out quietly, but then I forget who does it, but someone's like whipping her, like someone's like
probably Hermione.
Yeah, someone's flogging her in public, and like nice try, and she it's very satisfying. Yeah, like she got what she deserved. She got her comeuppance, and everything's back to normal except Harry, who's sad.
Right.
Okay, and rightfully so. Like his stupid godfather died, and I say stupid because like he was a good character, and then suddenly he wasn't.
Yeah,
he got really dumb, and so he's
so in denial that he finds like
nearly headless Nick,
and he's like, so like ghosts are and I think this is like her trying to explain how this wouldn't work.
Yeah,
like really quickly, like bluntly. He's like, so ghosts are real, right? He's like, yeah. Who can be a ghost? Wizards. He's like, perfect. He's like, yeah, but like only certain wizards.
Well, only wizards who
choose to stay behind or who are afraid of death. Essentially,
yeah.
Indicating that he wasn't afraid of death. I'm like, that sounds. I don't buy it.
No, because Harry's like, well, he would have chose to come back as a ghost because of me. You know, Harry's self-centered. Like, no, he'd come back because I'm still here.
I think he died to get away from you. Actually.
For real. I'm free from this franchise.
I want a new godson.
Yeah. What's the end of The Whale? Have you seen The Whale with Brendan Fraser? Anyway, so yeah, he goes to Nearly Headless Nick. Nearly Headless Nick is like, no.
He's like, everything you're thinking, stop.
Yeah, stop
like,
it.
He's dead.
He's dead. And I feel like this is why I say she's bad at killing characters, because she writes it to where you think maybe he's not dead. It's kind of
Are
unclear.
we just trained to think that way?
Right.
Or is that, I'm talking about in general. Is everyone just trained to think that way?
Like, I'm trained to think maybe he's coming back.
Because the way he died was like so abrupt. Like, typically when you do that, like a freaking Abdul from JoJo.
Yeah.
Like you think like it's so freaking abrupt and he comes back. He dies again. But like you see him
abruptly again.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
spoilers.
Right. Exactly though. So like that we're trained to basically believe unless we see a body and there's like a scene dedicated to it.
Yeah.
But for here it was I thought the whole time I was like, he's gotta come back, right? I even looked up, I was like, does he come back?
And because me too. Because I was like, no way.
Yeah.
Like you said, abrupt, poorly done. I was like, no. But and so, but because there's even a part where Harry pulls out the gift that Sirius got him, he never opened, and he looks in the mirror, and he's like, Sirius made a promise that anytime I wanted to talk to him through the mirror, he will be there. And there's a point where he looks at the mirror, and it does something, but then nothing happens.
Yeah, so basically Luna says that the question of like the afterlife was kind of dancing around Harry's head, and Luna basically said, yeah, I was there. Basically, I heard voices on the other side of the veil, which indicates that people are still like, they exist at some capacity, but not coming back.
Right.
And he's like, oh, okay, I feel better.
Yeah, but like when he looks in the mirror, it does something, but then nothing happens. So I was like, so is he, maybe he's not, maybe he's just like stuck in the veil and can come in, but no.
No, it's a one way. It's a one way.
Yeah. He's dead. Sirius is gone.
He's dead.
But she wrote it to where like you're not sure, and you're maybe, but then they just don't bring it up again.
Right. Diggory, I felt like I knew he was dead.
Yeah.
Maybe because he wasn't as important of a character.
Because we saw a body.
Right. We saw a body.
But Sirius,
he evaporated. So it's like,
maybe.
Yeah, and why did he fall into the veil on top of that? It's like, maybe that's
no, because he was standing in front of the door, and then Bellatrix.
I looked up the movie clip.
Is it bad?
Well, like, because I was like, I need to see how this looked in my reality. I was like, I can't do it in my head.
Yeah.
He gets hit like a bullet wound, which I'm pretty sure this was instant death, mind you. But he gets hit like a bullet wound. He looks at Harry, and he's like, basically gives him like the, and then he gets in front of the veil and falls into the veil.
Oh my god! Well, that's not how it was in the book.
Yeah, it was pretty like.
I know you had to go back and do it, but in the book, I had to go back too. The second time I was like, I need to know how he died because I don't remember.
It was a blinding light or something.
Yeah, and he got hit, and it pushed him into the veil. Yeah. So whatever.
Yeah, they had a really long, stupid, drawn out death scene in the movie. So I was like,
So
I'm all for killing characters abruptly as long as it
adds something.
Yeah,
because like.
It's earned.
George R. R. Martin is so good at shock value, and that's intentional.
Yeah.
Whereas with J.K. Rowling, I'm like, I don't think she did that on purpose. I think she thought this was a very well written death.
I want to know, like, I want her to like explain it because like it's happened twice now.
Yes, and get dude. No spoilers, but it doesn't get better. She's bad at killing characters.
So
she always has been.
Yeah.
And yeah. So
okay,
let's sum up our thoughts. That's the end of the book. Harry goes back home again.
Dumbledore tells him it was all planned, basically.
Shoot, we haven't done the Dumbledore part yet. Okay. Dumbledore sits him down. Harry starts on a temper tantrum. I know he's mad, but like he's like, I'm gonna fight Dumbledore now with fists. I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
And Dumbledore brings up, I'm sorry because I've been keeping things from you, and that was wrong.
Right.
I still don't think he should have been feeding Harry's
apologized a
pettiness.
lot.
Yeah,
he basically said that Harry did nothing wrong.
And I was like, I disagree, but I know what you mean, Dumbledore. I get it.
Basically, his whole big deal was that he's had too much of a close connection with Harry.
Yeah.
So he needed someone else, to teach him.
Yeah.
But he was like, but it should have been me. I'm like, no, I think you were right.
Yeah.
I think you were right to have Snape do it, but he says that the Dursleys. Could you explain that magic spell again? So apparently his mom, the way the spell works is if the blood is strong enough and he needs to be close to his bloodline or something for protection against Voldemort.
I wish I could tell you what the hell
I was very confused.
I think she wrote in the first book, I think she's trying to rework the love angle Because the first book, it was so dumb, like love saved you.
Yeah.
I think she's just trying to explain it away because by the time the spells got more complicated, and she had to work, because in theory, up until the fourth book, love would have killed Voldemort every time.
Right.
And so she got to the fourth book. She's like, I got to write a way out of this.
Right.
So the more she explains it, the less sense it makes for me. Does that make sense?
So basically, he gives some kind of bullcrap excuse, in my opinion, of why he has to stay at the Dursleys.
Right. Well, basically, he's saying because what sealed the deal and protects you is love is Voldemort's kryptonite, and because she's family, the love that your mom had for your sister.
Yeah, I don't buy it. That's why I say bullcrap. And also, like, there were so many times where he could have gone to someone else's house, but like for whatever reason, it wasn't a good idea. No one, the Order of the Phoenix never told him, because Sirius offered to take him home, and then like Mrs. Weasley was like, we should take him home. Yeah. And they never said, oh, well, there's a reason why we're not doing this until now. Right. So convenient. Right?
Yeah. So so he has the endgame speech with Dumbledore at the end of every book, like always. And that's it. Yeah. He goes back home to the Dursleys. The end.
Also, Cho is dating someone else.
Oh, that's my last note. Cho storyline, which we wasted tons of chapters on. Remember how big this book is? The good parts, the Order of the Phoenix, goes till about right here. This little section. And then the last book where Sirius's death and the Ministry is about right here. the last couple pages. And everything else in between is Cho. And let me tell you, it's been an hour and a half, and I cut out the boring parts. There's Weasley as our king, which we didn't even bother to talk about. Weasley saved the day in Quidditch, and he's good now. Yeah. We cut all that out. You're welcome. This is the only good parts. The beginning and the end. And that's the book, and everyone's back home, so we need to let's close this out. Sorry for the rush, like last couple seconds, but that's it. That's the end. That's the end. And this book was so big for no reason. Yeah. Closing thoughts. I was bored for most of it.
I heard just someone recently say that this was their least favorite of the franchise. I feel like this is probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's not any good parts of it. There are some parts I like, but man, like, the last book, there were flaws, but like the good parts were like weighed out, the bad parts. To me, this book, it's so weighed down by all this garbage, all the stupid, decisions, and the character assassination upon character assassination, characters acting way stupider than they would before. Dumbledore included, like everyone did.
Everyone just got dumbed down because the plot needed to happen.
Right.
And it was a shame.
Even Voldemort was like a clip note. He was just like, I'm here
Voldemort
too.
Was bad the whole series.
No, I'm talking about from Voldemort's standards.
Yeah.
He was just, last book, remember how he got like chapters of him just appearing and talking to Harry and saying how good he is?
Yeah.
In this book, it was just like, I'm here too. Now I'm not. And then he's gone.
Yeah.
Like, even he wasn't taking that seriously.
Yeah.
So, and all in all, the main antagonist was the Ministry of Magic. People who were not even on, like, fighting, they're technically on the same side. It's like, man, what actually did happen in this book? What did we learn? What actually has changed?
You know what I learned? I don't like Harry Potter that much. And I learned that from book 1. So, I don't know. And I agree with you. Like, there's so much in here that's just nothing. Padding. We didn't need all the love triangles.
There's a very stupid coffee date he goes on. That's a regular coffee date. Not even a magical coffee date. It's a regular coffee date.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, everyone else is sucking face. I guess that means I have to as well, but I don't want to because she's a girl and I don't.
Yeah.
And she keeps crying.
Now, we summed it up in 2 seconds, but that's a whole chapter, guys.
Yes. No joke. I'm pretty sure it's called something like that.
Yeah.
Cho's Big Date or something.
Okay. All right. Let's cut it off there. That's a good hour and a half of this. So, and I'm tired. My throat's hurting.
Sorry, Toodles.
Yeah. Sorry.
I know you probably like this book.
But what do you think, though? Was I right? Was he sharing a brain with Voldemort, and that's why he's angry? I don't know. Let us know. Yeah. So, all right, guys.
I'm excited for the next one.
Dude, the next one's really good.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite book. Is book 6, but it's tied between 2 and 6.
Right.
And I'd even say 3 is up there now with rereading it. But anyway. Guys, thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you next time. Hopefully the next Harry Potter book won't take 3 months.
Yeah.
But no promises. I'm getting kind of tired here, so sorry.
It was a chunk.
It was a chunk.
Big burger.
Chunk of doo-doo. All right. Love you guys. See you guys next week.